for your commitment to be a member. And there's something that that's on the agenda. Review the governing principles. And all the members have a copy of the governing principles. Okay? Do you have any questions regarding those governing principles? Okay? Pardon? Does anybody need a copy, just in case you didn't pick up one? Okay. So you see on there that only members can vote, and as much as there's no questions there, I'll get into the second thing because there's still some people signing up. Another action, okay, was elect managers of the association. Under, as it's described here, under Title 15, for corporations and unincorporated associations, they basically define members and managers. The members adopt the governing principles. The members select the managers. Okay. In the governing principles, it calls for electing 11 managers. From that point on, then it's the manager's responsibility. Okay. Now, a manager has the responsibility of good faith to execute the purpose and mission of the association. So anything we do in regard to actions taken by the association must be in keeping with that purpose. You'll see there down below where it says profits. By the way, this is taken right from the statutes. And our attorney looked over and said, great. In any case, the association may engage in profit-making activities, but profits from any activities and all dues and donations must be used and set aside for the non-profit purposes of the association. And the purposes are up there. So, yes, if we take, if we have meetings to do what we're doing, that's consistent with the purpose. If we do picketing, demonstrations, send letters, communicate through the way it's defined here when we set up meetings and the like, as to the means in which we will use for the managers to use to communicate. You know, that's all defined. Any expenses associated with our purpose is a legitimate expense. And the manager's responsibility is to make sure that all that's done. So they have a responsibility as to duty of the association, and they have a responsibility that the actions taken are consistent with the purpose, or purposes, or mission of the association. So managers, those who volunteer to be managers and ought to be selected to be a manager, you have a duty. And the standard duty of a member is to again bring up to the organization if there's anything that needs to be done. You see something awry, you see something inconsistent with the purposes, is to speak up when we have these meetings, or contact a manager, and maybe there's a need to set up a meeting, and that will be done. So ultimately, it's just a matter of making sure everybody understands the basic duties of a member, and certainly the duties of a manager are obviously more involved. The managers may select their officers. If managers want president, vice president, secretary, or if they want president, vice president, secretary, assistant secretary, secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, assistant, or assistant to treasurer, it's up to those managers. They have to make those decisions within themselves. But in all cases, parliamentary procedure is to be utilized. At these meetings, at the managers' meetings.
So how do we select the 9 managers?
Okay, that's coming up. Do we have everybody now? Okay, so, members, the first order of business is to approve the governing principles. In this case, all in favor, raise your hand. Is there anybody that's opposed? Anybody opposed to the governing principles? So we have a list, and she has the list of all the members, okay? Don't think we need a roll call because, for the most part, we have at least 33%. So, okay, the governing principles are adopted. Now it comes to election of managers, and I'm going to ask basically a person who has been assisting in the communications and the like for meetings and other issues of the borough. His name is Brian Long. In as much as he is a let's say a non-member status, he's going to conduct the election of managers. So Brian, you have the floor.
Thanks, sir.
Still a few people that are signing in out there.
Or other?
Yeah. But I still think we had a majority regardless.
Oh, we do have a quorum, but one of those members might want to be a manager.
Right, let me just check.
I'm pretty sure Terry wants to be a manager. She's out there collecting dues.
Somebody's starting to write form. I have to figure out.
So I know that there are some people who are taking notes. You don't have to take notes. Everything's going to be live streamed both on Columbia Spy and on Columbia News and Views. We are live streaming through YouTube right now.
Transparency, folks.
That's one thing that we strive for. We want to have total openness wherever we can do it. And we will do it, wherever. So, we're opening the nominations for members, right? Or partner.
No, it's just a matter of asking for those who want to volunteer.
Oh, who wants to volunteer? Yes, to be on the leader team. Norm Meisky. I'm going to write this big because I can't see.
That's why I have my glasses.
And I'll run out of room.
Yeah. You're getting it.
Your name?
Joanne Fritz.
Joanne?
Yes.
J-O?
Capital J-O, capital A-N-N.
Thank you, ma'am. One word or 2 words?
It's 2 words with 1 name.
I know that.
Don't put a space between the O and the A.
Okay, there's no space.
No.
Terry, Delter.
Yeah, she out there.
She's out there. She's out there right now.
I think you can put Kate's name on. She said she would be, what she said manager though, is that going to be winning this title? Should I or my sister?
That's what we're doing, the manager, right?
Yep, we're doing managerial teams.
Nine.
So here's what we have right now. Norm Meisky, Joanne Fritz, Terry Doutry, Kate Neely, Frank Doutry.
Joe is raising his hand. Terry is raising her hand.
Joe is raising his hand.
And Kate is raising her hand. They're out there taking care of
We're gonna
her.
run out of paper.
Okay, stick it on the wall. So we have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going once, going,
Norm, that's a good question. She wants to know how much you have to know about what all's going on to be a volunteer.
You already know enough.
You know him.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know as much as anybody else here knows. The other, Shirley McBride said she'll do it if you don't have enough.
Shirley,
Well,
shall I
okay.
put your name here, Shirley?
You can do that, yes.
Somebody asked the question, how much time would be involved? I can tell you of a necessity because of the litigation process. It's going to be frequent. When I say frequent, probably once a week. And it could last an hour, it could last 2 hours. Usually, it wouldn't last more than 2 hours. But nonetheless, there is some commitment of time on the part of the managers. So that's the best guess I can give you. How many we got?
7. I think
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anybody else to be a member?
The manager.
Manager, rather.
I guarantee you're really gonna enjoy it. Trust me.
Talking to you, go ahead.
Okay, come on, go ahead, come on.
Put her down.
Yeah.
Put Elaine up there.
Well, are you volunteering, Elaine? Get the hand up.
I'll be volunteering. It's my first time I've been volunteering.
Pardon? Were you a Marine?
I'm sorry?
Were you a Marine? Never volunteered.
No. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what we have.
Anybody else? Anybody outside there just signed up as a member?
That wants to be a manager?
Yeah. We have some.
Nominate someone, but we have not.
Oh, it's fun. It's
We
fun.
should take a vote on this.
Yes.
So we have the nominees and they're posted on this paper and that paper. Is there anybody else who should be added to this list? Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept these names, these persons as partners?
Yes.
Managing
That's
partners.
manager.
Managing partners. Have a motion second? All those in favor signify by raising your hand. Opposed? Okay, thank you, Gary. These are the partners. So, these are managing partners.
Yeah, just managers.
Managers. With that, we will then turn it over to the managers and you.
Okay. Thank you, folks. Now it's going to be a meeting of the managers. We got some business to conduct as by the managers.
You have to elect the president,
Yes, you did.
secretary, of public.
Yeah, why did you just leave?
Why is it your name and your name?